So this is my presentation about engineering and all the things that I've learned this year about engineering at Pitt. So we start with why I decided to come to Pitt. It was the last school that I applied to, and I didn't want to apply to it, but my parents made me apply to it. And in the long run, I guess that worked out because I'm here, and I love it. And yeah, part of the reason why I wanted to come here is, first of all, Pitt is one of the best engineering schools in the country, and I'm quickly finding that I actually really enjoy it. There's a lot of opportunities to do well in the classroom. The professors are great. They're great in lectures. They're great in office hours. The TAs are awesome. There's a lot of ways to get involved outside of Pittsburgh. I mean, like, as part of what we pay for, we have to pay for a bus ticket. So they're basically telling us, like, go into the city and enjoy the city. And I have. I've gone to the city a bunch of times, and it's a lot of fun. So that's why I chose Pitt, and why I chose Pitt and why I chose the engineering program at Pitt. I've really been considering the electrical engineering program. In high school, I took a year of E&M physics, and I tended to do really well in it, and a lot of people ended up struggling in it. So I figured, hey, why not try to make a career out of it? Part of why I want to become an engineer, not just electrical engineer, but just an engineer in general, is to change the societal perception of engineers as like these quirky, awkward, doesn't know how to deal with people, introverts, and that we can actually deal with people, and that we like being around people and being social, and like going out and experiencing the world, which is part of the reason why I'm possibly considering going into like the businessy side of electrical engineering, because that would give me an opportunity to deal with people and to have an understanding of the products that I'm selling, but to be able to explain the products to people that might not be as educated on them as me. I'm considering working at Piccadilly Arsenal, which is in New Jersey, about 15 minutes from my house. It's the leading research facility for the military for arms and ammunition. So there is a high demand for engineers to work there, both in the military and civilian. I might end up changing engineering disciplines, which I found out through this year. Industrial engineering sounds pretty cool. Mechanical sounds pretty cool. But you know, whether I end up going into EE or I end up doing something else, I know I'll be happy. But another thing that I'd like to focus on in engineering is nuclear energy, because as we all know, the environment is not really in the best state right now. And one of the ways that we can fix it is through nuclear energy. It gives off no greenhouse gas. The biggest threat that nuclear energy poses to the environment is in the disposal of the nuclear waste, but if that is done correctly, then there's really no issues that are involved. When people hear nuclear energy, they tend to think about Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island and Fukushima and all of the things that happened there. And Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island, that was the result of human error. And what happened in Fukushima was the result of an earthquake, which no one really could have controlled. So even though those were terrible accidents, they really aren't as bad as everyone says they are. There are two main things that nuclear energy will help. One of them is the environment, which I already talked about. The other one is the economy, because in using more nuclear energy, we would have to build more nuclear power plants, build more waste facilities, which would have jobs, which would create jobs in building and planning and construction, and then in running the plants and the waste facilities. So it's really something that more people should consider looking into and not just being scared of. And with that, I just want to talk about ethics in engineering real quick, because that's really important, because as Dr. Budney liked to tell all of us at the beginning of the year, when the engineers make mistakes, people die. We have to be the ones that make the hard decisions as far as technology goes, and a lot of times we can't just rely on our own opinion to make the right decisions. So there are many different ethics codes that engineers use in order to develop and utilize their technology and their resources and their services properly. But at the end of the day, even with the ethics in place, you still have to be able to trust your gut and know that you know what you're doing and know that what you're doing is correct. So yeah, that's what I've learned from engineering. Thank you for listening.